Today we're on trail reviewing the brand new Neuhaus Metalworks Hummingbird CORE. Neuhaus Metalworks just announced an affordable version of the Hummingbird. It's called the Hummingbird CORE. How is it different than the regular Hummingbird? Well, the biggest difference is the price. This bike is half the price of the US made Hummingbird. This bike is made overseas in Taiwan, and we got to talk about that a lot today. But first of all, let's just see how she rides. Whoa, dang. It's still called the Hummingbird because it's still a Hummingbird, but it's slightly different. So geo-wise, this thing is only half a degree slacker than the original Hummingbird. This thing is so good. You know what it reminds me of? The Hummingbird. Just a great hardtail. So the US frames at time of filming cost $2,500 for a steel frame. This is going to be available for $1,250. That's incredible. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh my goodness. Oh man. I haven't had that much fun on a hardtail in a while. This feels every bit like the Hummingbird. And truth be told, it is 98% the same as a Hummingbird, just built somewhere else. The biggest part of what makes a frame so special, besides the geometry, is the tubing profile. And Neuhaus has been making the Hummingbird for 4 years now. And they've got 16 sizes on their US frames. And out of the 16 sizes of Hummingbirds Nick makes in California, each one has its own unique tube set. So when someone orders one of those, he can pick the tubing for the weight of the rider and how it's going to be ridden. So Nick took the secret sauce from the California Hummingbird and designed it into the CORE line to build this beautiful Hummingbird CORE. Now, instead of 16 sizes, there's only 5 in the CORE lineup. So if you're really between sizes and you want something crafted to a T for you, you might still opt for the California built ones. And that's still an option. Those will still be produced. There will still be Thai Hummingbirds built in California. There's not going to be a Thai Hummingbird built overseas. There are a few subtle differences between the frames, and we'll hop over to the shop to check those out. All right, we're here in the shop to get nerdy. Let's compare these. Weight-wise, it's amazing how good they got this. The Neuhaus CORE is only 0.17 pounds heavier. That's amazing, and it's half the price of the US-made one. Now, there are some differences. The US-made one still has the 3D printed yokes. The US one has a T49 bottom bracket, where this has a traditional BSA threaded bottom bracket. You'll also notice on the USA version, it's got this internal cable routing that stays internal and comes all the way up here. There's only one entry port. They weren't able to do that on this one to keep the cost where it needs to be. So the dropper routing goes under the down tube, and then there's a window that goes into the seat tube. Actually, mine's a prototype, and on the production one, the window is going to be moved to the drive side. And so it's just a traditional window there to get it in, but it's going to be external on the down tube to get in there. Another thing you get with the under down tube routing is a water bottle boss down here, which you did not get on the US one. So the CORE model has some upgrades. The third water bottle boss underneath here, traditional bottom bracket. I'm going to call that an upgrade for most people. Same sliding dropouts, same tire clearance. This will fit 2.6s, totally slammed at 420, and it'll fit 2.6 through the whole range. The head angle is only 0.5 degrees slacker. Whenever you take a great hardtail to a factory to tell them to build it, you have to fight them a little bit because they say, this is out of the norm. We normally do it this way. Let's just do it the way we normally do it. And we have to say, actually, we want something better and something different. And then they'll fight you, and then you go back and forth, and you get most of what you want, but not always. I don't know how they did it, but Neuhaus convinced their factory to build these with Neuhaus's tubing profile, which is a huge part to why these bikes ride so special. So many bikes are overbuilt. So it's really amazing to get the same tube set in the CORE lineup as you get with Nick in the US built Neuhaus stuff. Now, technically the tubing is ever so thicker on the CORE models because They wanted to have a safety margin, whereas where you get the one-off experience working directly with the US factory, they can choose the tube set for your riding style and your strength and your weight. Whereas this, they had to kind of make it fit everybody. So it's a slightly thicker tubing, but very slightly. It's almost not even worth mentioning. Man, we've gone too slack in so many of our bikes these days, and we've lost the joy of a single track carving machine. Oh, and this brings it right back. Today we're going to take this on a variety of trails because this doesn't want a genre. It just wants to be a mountain bike. Let's start out with a flowy downhill pump track. This trail's called Ace of Spades. Oh man, this is fun on slack bikes too, but there's something amazing about a zippy hardtail. Oh man. Woo! My goodness. What a bike, Nick. Yeah, if I were masked and I couldn't tell which one I'm on, I'd have an impossible time telling the difference between this and the US one. This is the most supple hardtail I've ridden that came out of a factory. Personally, I wouldn't mind the seat angle half a degree to even 1 degree steeper for what I like, but I think this will fit what most people like better. I like really short cockpit when climbing. Not short wheelbase, just short distance to the bars. This has sliding dropouts, so you can go from 420 to 435 rear end. If you don't know what that means, you're a perfect candidate for my mountain bike geometry course. I have a whole online course with over 120 different video lessons and modules explaining all the different geometry measurements and how they impact how a bike rides. I also talk about tweaks and modifications you can make to your existing bike to make it handle more like you want. So if you're interested in that, I got a link below. This one runs on money and makes you fat. This one runs on fat and saves you money. Except this one costs more than that. I'm not a shredder. I'm not into big air. That's not my riding style. It's not what brings me excitement and joy. But some of you are curious what this does do on that type of terrain. We're gonna go hit a little bit of a flow trail with some drops and cool things like that. I'm not gonna hit everything. This isn't a burly send it bike, but it can handle more than you think. All right, here we go on Area 51. I've got bird wheels on right now. Woo, that's fun. All right, looks pretty dry. Ooh, that thing's got a knuckle. Drop. So in control. Drop. Woo! Man, this thing's fun. Not your mama's cross-country bike. One thing that's wonderful about modern mountain bike is that you can change the effective geometry. I wish the seat angle was ever so slightly steeper, so I'm going to make it steeper by sliding my saddle forward. This RockShox Reverb Axis dropper is fantastic. It better be, because it's almost the price of this frame. There, now I have a steeper seat angle. If you want to learn more about tricks like this and how to get the geo you want out of your bike, go check out my geo course in the link below. So yeah, this thing has 98% the ride quality of the US one at half the price. This core model is going to apply to other bikes as well in the lineup, made overseas, so there will be more models coming. I'm excited about that. Ooh, that looks fun down there, doesn't it? A lot of people think all steel bikes ride the same, and man, they do not. If you want my advice on the perfect hardtail for your budget and riding style, and you don't get that out of my video reviews, become a patron today. I have a one-on-one bike consultation where we can compare the over 150 bikes I've ridden and help you pick one that's perfect for your needs and budget and riding style. That's a paid-for service. That's my main job, is consulting on that. I also help people weed through classifieds of used bikes as well to help them avoid buying a disaster. That's part of my service as well. Man, this bike is truly special. I've never ridden a production frame that feels like this. It just feels like the best of the best hand-built small brand hardtails made out of steel. This thing is so good. Where would I not want this? I would not want this on an enduro race. I wouldn't mind it on an XC race. It's not going to be light as like a World Cup carbon frame or something like that. This would be a fantastic bike packer and just a great all-around trail bike that's up for adventure. It wouldn't be my first pick for big sends, big drops, big hucks. It is strong, but it's not overbuilt for that. Something like a Chromag will be better for that type of thing, but a Chromag is so overbuilt that it beats you up. Let's see how she does on tight switchback climbs. Very controlled. Yeah, even with my seat slid forward, I wouldn't mind 1 degree steeper seat angle, but I'm in the rare minority that likes really, really steep seat angles. When I reviewed the first Hummingbird, in my review, I was blown away by how compliant it was. And I stated that big riders might find it overly flexy. I need to clarify that. Every size has a different tubing profile. So a medium has thinner tubes than a large. And so if you're a bigger rider, your bike is going to be designed for that. Ooh, this looks challenging. Ooh, sketchy. Yikes. This is gonna be tough. Oh, yeah. Man, this thing is light. Easy to just shift into place where you want. Those are hard moves on a hardtail. On a full suspension, you can just plow through them. But on a hardtail, your back wheel is gonna slam that first ledge, then your front wheel is gonna slam the second one. So you have to go and unweight and kind of lunge everything together and then lunge it again. This bike does it beautifully. Same thing there, get the front up, hop the rear up. What a joy, this bike just makes me smile. I'm not affiliated with Neuhaus Metalworks, they're not paying me to make this review. And I have some really cool bikes coming in for review this year. They're already in, I'm just working on getting the videos out. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you're notified when I drop those other bikes. Some of them boutique, some of them mass produced, some of them expensive, some of them very affordable. Something for everybody. This year my goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers and I need your help to do that. Most of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So I invite you to support it. It's free. Become a subscriber today. Whew. Help me out and get notified when I release new stuff. I'm adding a little bit of air with my favorite compressor. It's battery operated. I don't carry a pump or CO2 anymore. It's the size of 2 CO2s. I got a link for this with a discount in the description below. Such a game changer. Really, really beautiful design on this. It just looks good standing still. There's a fun slab right here that reminds me of Sedona. Let's see how the Neuhaus tackles steep. Oh, it pivots on the nose nicely. Oh yeah, beautiful. No problem. What a bike. That's pretty cool. 120 mil fork with some heavy G options as you come in. All right, who is this bike for? This bike is for someone who wants a truly special bike with special sauce that rides great on blue intermediate trails where most of us ride all our trails. They want a bike that's simple, a bike that has a great ride feel that doesn't beat them up, a bike that's elegant and beautiful looking, and they don't have to break the budget paying a custom frame builder to make something in small batches. Somehow, Neuhaus has been able to capture the ride feel of a small batch custom tubing selected frame and mass produced it to make it affordable for all of us. So many hardtails are overbuilt. They can have great geo and great parts, but if they're overbuilt, it's truly disappointing compared to what's possible with a really great special frame. Who is this bike not for? That's a really tough question, because I think if most people was able to throw a leg over one of these and ride them, they'd be surprised how well it suits most of their riding. What a special bike. I'm so glad it's brought to the masses, and now you can get a custom boutique ride feel for everyday prices. This concludes my review of the Neuhaus Metalworks Hummingbird CORE. If you guys enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so I can hit my goal of 100,000 this year. Share this with your friends who would enjoy this. That really helps me out. And as always, thanks for watching. There's a party in the mountains and you're invited.